Hey everybody! Okay, so what I want you guys to do is to either turn to someone or write down 1 to 3 words or phrases that you would use to identify yourself to someone, such as the ones you're about to see from my family. So, here you go. The shatter of the bottles would scare me something awful as...
Can I identify myself in some way?
I'm an artist from Santa Cruz.
Okay, I am a 53-year-old woman from California.
I am a middle-aged woman, though young at heart, who lives on the coast of California.
I'm an architect, I'm a husband, and I'm a father.
What does it mean to be French? Does it mean wearing a beret and holding a baguette under your arm, or being born in a foreign country and adopting this nation as your own?
The French or the city?
Escargot, croissants.
I think of the French as a people that are extremely proud of their culture and heritage.
Proud of their art, architecture, and history. And when I think of France, I also think of blue and white striped t-shirts.
I think the French are very aware of their past and also very protective of their present, and their culture is really important to them.
For the past few months, France has been asking itself that very question. The great debate over national identity is definitely worthy of a nation that prides itself on its philosophers, but the very reasons why it was asked at all have only deepened racial tensions present for years.
The neighborhood has a bad reputation. It has had for quite some time. It's very mixed. Maybe that's where this reputation comes from. Otherwise, it's a normal place. People are the same as anywhere else.
If there was less racism, it would be better.
You feel there's a lot of racism?
The younger generations are, how can I put it, dishonest. They say they're not racist, but they are. I'm against racism.
I tried to take studies, but at the time there was discrimination. I couldn't finish school, so I had to do manual labor. Now things are different. There are young people, young Arabs, who are going places in society. This national identity thing puzzles me a little. I feel that we're returning towards racial discrimination. I think it's a step backwards.
Marseille is like an annex of Algeria. What we left there, we found here. There's no national identity. We're all the same. We deal with people with our hearts. You saw it, we all hug each other.
Today, the listeners can take part in a special program about the national identity debate.
This debate is a distraction to make the people forget the economic and social distress we face at the moment and make them focus on the immigrant, allow me the expression, the Arab, the Muslim, scapegoat for all the problems of France.
Minutes later, listeners start reacting on the phone.
What we want is to be recognised as real French people, because that's what we are, whether they like it or not. There are those who say we're French. Well, I say we're more French, and we have been for decades.
So now they want to ban the veil. Why would they prohibit a small scarf that's not even 50 centimetres long? They just play with religion as they please.
The longer I live in France, the more I think I'll just return to my country, because things are just going from bad to worse. We were already making efforts to be accepted. I've learned French, I live in France, I pay my taxes, and I'm still looked upon as if I were a thief. They cling on to fragments expressed by people who don't know what they're talking about, and it creates a certain distraction in their minds. Then the national media presents them as brainwashed fanatics, seduced by mullahs or whoever. But basically, they're just young people seeking an identity that France has failed to give them.
que la France n'a pas su leur donner.
We don't talk about national identity in the tower. No one meets on the landing to chat about this debate. I think it's a bit surreal that we should ask ourselves such questions. What does being French mean? Well, you know, everyone lives it in his own way. I suppose one should speak French. That does indeed sound like a necessary foundation, but apart from that, as some politicians would say, let everyone live their Frenchness as they wish.
Moussa is the building's supervisor. He immigrated to France from the Comoros Islands. He arrived in Marseille 16 years ago after serving in the French Army's Foreign Legion. Here, everybody knows and appreciates him.
Despite the different communities who live in this building, I've never had problems with the residents. Everyone gets on. When there's a problem, they talk to each other and solve it. It's never gone beyond that.
For Moussa, it's time to go to the roof and check on the elevators. An opportunity to bring up the touchy issue of national identity with this Muslim who is also a former French soldier.
National identity, when I hear about it, it just disgusts me. I wonder who's the real Frenchman and who the fake one is. That's the question. Who are the real French people? Who are fake ones? So today there are fake French people who deserve lessons and others who don't. That's the issue. If it wasn't for these elections, we would not have talked about national identity. What will we come up with in 2012? Maybe demolish the mosques?
All those years of moving, I was slowly losing all my names. No matter what I'd ruin, it couldn't hold a candle to the pain. My tears are real and all my own, pouring down there all alone. The soft roll of the water reminds me of my father's parting words. Son, now don't you bother looking for your place out in the world. The tide will roll through the waves. Son, you'll find your getaway.
What does it mean to be French? Does it mean wearing a beret and holding a baguette under your arm, or being born in a foreign country and adopting this nation as your own? The shatter of the bottles would scare me something awful as a kid.
Okay, so now that we've reached the end, I want to hark back on how you identified at the very beginning of the video. If you're with someone or even if you're alone, you can contemplate all the different reasons you identified with these things, or what it means to you, or whether or not someone identified with the same thing and it means something different to them. Basically, the point of this video is just to show that identity is not steadfast and set in one personal or national set of values or beliefs or things like that. It's more fluid, and there isn't a way to exactly pinpoint what everything means and how we identify ourselves, because it's ever changing just like we are. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked it.
You could salvage any